my repairs are dry. My color is matched. I'm going to put this off to the side. I don't need this for a while. And now I'm going to focus on the repairs. The first thing that I will do is look for any actual tears that go all the way through the leather, or any tears that go through the leather, or any flaps that are opened up. And I've already looked at this before, and I know that this is one here.
Let me get it done. Okay.
So this is a little flap that needs to be glued down. Here's another little bit that needs to be glued down. This is all okay, but I know that this over here, there's another flap that lifts up that needs to be glued down. There's two of them here. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the flaps back so I can get some adhesive in there. I'm going to use some of the Refinish Coatings Leather and Fabric Repair Glue. I'm going to put just a little bit on my fingertip. And I'm going to work it up underneath these flaps. This is going to hold these flaps down permanently. As you can see, I'm using very little. I'm going to work it in there, and then I'm going to lay this flap down. I'm going to work it in there, just like that. I don't want any glue exposed to the surface. I just want it all up underneath there. Okay, wipe off the excess. That's done. I've inspected these before. There are no other areas that need the leather glue. I'm going to give these spots a little bit of heat with the hair dryer. While those continue to dry, I'm going to use some 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to start to sand these worn areas. I don't want to sand over the thread because I'll scratch it up and fray it. So I'm going to just go right next to the seam line and sand. This is going to help smooth out the damage. This is also going to roughen the surface up, again, for better adhesion. I'm going to wipe off any of the sanding dust that's on there. I like to do that by putting a little water on the rag. You can use a tack rag if you wish. That works wonderful. I want to feel this, feel it, and I want it to feel as smooth as I can. It's a little bit raised from the damage, and it's very difficult to make that completely flat. You can only sand so much. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Refinish Coatings crack filler, and I'm going to begin to seal and fill in the voids here and make this smooth, and some of these areas. It doesn't take a whole lot, as you can see. I'm going to put it on and spread it out and then let it dry. Most of the damage back on this bolster here is going to get covered in with base coat, a product we'll be using next, and then the color coating, or the pigmented top coat. So I'm not concerned about filling every little void. It doesn't have color in it because the pigment and the pigments and the top coat will fill it in. So I'm going to let this dry by itself. I will use a heat gun to expedite that. But I have to wait till it's completely dry and I'll sand it. And repeat that process till I get everything filled in. Once these areas are dry, I'm going to lightly sand them down, smooth out the filler. You have to sand them down a little bit, otherwise you're going to have some marks of where the filler was showing through the paint. You need to lightly sand that down. You have some frayed thread on this seam. If we paint over it, it's going to just get more lumpy and more frayed looking, and it's going to feel gritty. So we're going to take a lighter and we're going to just burn them off real quick. So this area is dry, and I'm going to sand it. And this is dry, and I'm going to sand it. Okay, just like before, I'm going to wipe off the sandy residue, and I'm going to Put some more filler in this area and a little bit, some of these spots over here need just a little bit more filler.